Hello and good morning. This video is for Monday, January 11th, if you were absent for English 10. So as usual, we rocked through two assignments. The first one was English 10, pronouns using pronouns. So we go ahead and open this up. The form of a personal pronoun indicates its number, singular, plural, its person, first, second, or third, and its gender, masculine, feminine, or neuter. You can use these versatile words to establish the voice of your writing. Pronouns, if you're unsure, they're from the last assignment. They replace nouns: I, he, she, it, that, those, these. There's relative and interrogative ones like who, what, where. There's lots of different pronouns. Take a look at your assignment from Friday in case you need to refresher on those. Write in the first person to focus on personal thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Use this voice in free writing, journals, personal narratives, and so on. So first person is going to be I. It's basically just going to be writing with the I. So I really blew at practice last night. I was late making my entrance and I forgot my line. So we see I. These are pronouns. I is a pronoun. It's a personal pronoun. We see I again. We see a lot of I's. My is a personal pronoun. That's what they want you to use. My, another personal pronoun. Second person, right? In the second person, speak directly to your reader as in letters and email messages. Some fiction writers experiment with this voice but should be avoiding formal writing. So example, before you log off, you will want to save your work to a backup file. Again, when you're writing letters to this stuff, or even when like you're texting back and forth, you're going to use a lot of the second person. You're going to say, it's going to be kind of like giving directions to someone. You. You're talking directly to them. Third person, right? And third person to focus on the subject, not itself. Use this voice in most formal writing and in stories that are not about you. So you should really write in third person as much as possible. In every class, basically outside of English, you should write in a third person. So third person eliminates the I. So for example, I use the third person quite a lot. I am doing an assignment for college, and I write the researcher, not I or Mr. I might even write Mr. McDonald or I basically just eliminate my name altogether. Uh, Example, conflicts would be unavoidable, but they can provide an opportunity to improve friendship among students. So let's go ahead and look at what I want you guys to do for this one. So it's directions. Identify the person in which these sentences are written, first, second, and third. Then retype each sentence, changing the person and the pronouns. Answer what effect does each change have on the voice of the setting. So when the team of horses hauled our wagon to the crest of the hill, we saw that the wildfire had destroyed our farm. This is going to be in the first person because it's talking about us, we. So then one of the things that you want to take a step back and figure out, okay, if you were to do this in third person, so when the team of horses hauled the wagon to the crest of the hill, the family saw that the wildfire had destroyed their farm. You looked in dread in your barn, gutted and ruined in your house, still smoldering, and saw that everything you owned was in ruins. This is in second person again. Second person, we see a lot of you, we see a lot of your. So with this example, make sure that you change to a different person. She stepped down. The second I see she, I see third person. First person. That's how you go through that one. So go through that, take some time, identify the person, and then rewrite the sentences in another different person. Go through the following speech by Chief Joseph, replacing the pronouns with nouns that make sense with the speech. Simply delete the pronouns and replace them with nouns in the paragraph. So the reason why I want you to do this is actually to simply delete the pronouns and replace them with nouns in the paragraph. So I'm going to change this to go through the following speech, replacing the pronouns, replacing the first person pronouns with either second or third person pronouns that make sense with the speech. Simply delete them and replace them with other pronouns in the paragraph. So tell General Howard, I know his heart. So you're going to eliminate I here. Tell General Joseph that Chief Joseph knows his heart. When he told me before, I have in my heart, I am tired of fighting. Our chiefs are killed. Looking Glass is dead. So every time when you see something like I or my, you're going to change it into a third person or second person, depending on what you would like to do with that. That's your first assignment for the day. The second assignment for the day is a story. Hooray. Rules for the Czar. So I'm going to go ahead and read this, and then you have questions. Czars are kind of like presidents, kings, queens. Well, presidents let them have power, so they're more like kings and queens of Russia. This is the tale of the day of the Czars, of ermine and gold and pure white bread. In St. Petersburg, the Tsar held his court with pomp and ceremony that dazzled peasants and ambassadors alike. His winter palace covered acres by the sea, I should probably say side. By the side of the frozen Neva, it had pillars of lapis lazuli and of rare stones from the Urals. Its halls held treasures from all around the world. Once a year, the Tsar paid a visit to the state of to Moscow, where the rich merchants lived, trade center of the imperial domain. There he would sit in the throne room of the Kremlin, where his ancestors once ruled warring Muscovy. There was another great man in Moscow, a baker, Markov by name. The master bakers of the city were famous, and Markov was prince among them. His cakes and pastry were renowned throughout all of Russia's, but his rolls were the best of all. Pure white like the driven snow of the steppes, a crust just hard enough to crunch, the bread not too soft, but soft enough to hold the melted butter. Merchant princes from the Gold Rivers of Siberia, chieftains from the Caucasus in high fur hats, nobles from their feudal estates in the country, all came to Moscow to eat Markov's rolls. The Tsar himself was a mighty eater and especially fond of Markov's delicacies. So one day in February, when it came time for a visit to Moscow, he was thinking of Markov and his art, anticipating the rolls. His private car bore the imperial coat of arms. The rest of the train was filled with grand dukes, princes of blood, and noble ladies. The railroad track ran straight as an arrow 500 miles through the snow, the white birch forest, and the pines. The train chuffed into the Moscow station into the morning of sun and frost. The sun sparkled on the gold domes of churches. It glared on the cuirasses of a regiment of guards, all men of noble birth. Smoke rose straight up from the chimneys. Twin jets of steam snorted from the nostrils of the three horses of the Tsar's Trolka. The Tsar had a fine appetite. The horses' hooves kicked up gouts of snow as they galloped over the moat and through the gate in the Kremlin wall. The Tsar walked up the royal staircase, carpeted in red and lined with bowing servants. He was thinking of the rolls. He went through the formal greetings with a distracted look, then sat down eagerly at the breakfast table. Not a glance did he give the caviar, the smoked starlets, the peasant in an aspic. He watched the door. When a royal footman came through carrying a silver platter loaded with rolls, the Tsar smiled. All was well. Excuse me. The Tsar rubbed his hands and took a steaming roll. He broke it open and a smile vanished from his face. A dead fly lay embedded in his bread. Courtiers crowded around to look. Bring Markov here, said the Tsar with one of his terrifying glances. The banquet room was silent in tense horror. Markov came in puffing slightly, but bearing himself with the pride of a master artist. Look at this, Markov, said the Tsar, pointing at the fly. Tell me what this is. Markov looked and stood frozen for a moment. Princes, nobles, and servants all leaned forward, waiting for doom to strike him. The Tsar could bend horseshoes in his bare hands. A word from him and the bleaks of wastes of Siberia lay waiting. No one could tell what Markov thought, but they knew that a fly had endangered his life. He reached the platter and picked up the fly. He put it in his mouth and ate it. Every eye watched him swallow. It is a raisin, sire, he said. Answer the following questions using complete sentences. At what time does the story take place? What form of transportation does the Tsar use to travel from St. Petersburg to Moscow? What is in the roll that the Tsar breaks open? What does Markov say is in the roll? How does the Tsar reward Markov? The word Tsar comes from the name Caesar. How does the story show that the Russian Tsar has unlimited power in his empire? Instead of punishing Markov, the Tsar rewards him. Why? What does the Tsar find admirable in Markov? Let's check something out here. How does the story reveal the insight into human nature? Look at the passage that describes the Tsar eagerly weighing the rolls. How does the storyteller cause you to feel that things go wrong? How does the author make the scene come to life? Find definitions of the words using internet resources, then write an original sentence using each word. That's your assignment for the day. I need to go back and make sure that this is correct because I don't see where he rewards them. But I will check that out. If you have any questions, let me know. This is Mr. McDonald signing off.